Since the fall of man, after the great deluge, the human race has been in total disharmony on every level that you could possibly imagine by design. Knowledge has been taken away from the masses and given to a very select few. In the 1960s, spiritual leaders, priests, and some secret society organizations from around the world decided in unison to lift the veil of secrecy and to shine light back into the darkness of ignorance. Time to give it back. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is knowing where the ledge is so you don't fall down. The pyramid at Saqqara was the first to be built in Egypt. When it was first created, it was covered with glorious white stones. The whole city stretches for miles and goes deep into the earth for hundreds of feet, including buildings and complexes under the ground. Imagine seeing it when it was brand new. The Egyptians have taken almost all these pyramids that approach or exceed 6,000 years of age and put military bases with huge electrical fences around them. In some cases, soldiers are on guard with machine guns. If you try to approach these pyramids, they would probably try to kill you. They don't want anyone to know about these pyramids, and they especially don't want you to examine them. What secrets are they hiding? The secret of world languages are in some of these guarded pyramids. As discussed in the holographic-disclosure series, language is one big sigil and is one of the tools of control employed by the cabal. All language slowly evolved on purpose so as not to get the symbolism too powerful. English being the most recent and the most powerful. All language is corruptible. That's because the intent is linked to multiple meanings, using close-sounding words and spelling that can vibrate in the same harmonic frequencies to redirect our energy into their creations. Through subliminal messaging and suggestion, they were able to control the flow of energy. This is because astral energy seeks the easiest way out. Like attracts like, and how these workings are like a domino effect. Once something is set into motion on the astral, the energies put into motion seek out like energies and things tie in. Wordplay that sounds absolutely silly to us also vibrates in a similar fashion. This reveals that this is not a random act, but a dead giveaway that this was an occult working, which was deliberate. Unfortunately, most people do not have the intelligence or the strength of character to delve into the occult. Language was channeled by the ancients from demonic thinking entities that entered our universe after the experiment that caused the deluge, which resulted in the fall of man. The experiment was secretly codenamed in modern times the Octagon Experiment. Other findings were sigils, archetypes, and runes, which the ancients used to program and change reality. As we have now discovered, sacred geometry is the root of all language in the universe. This pyramid is called Leverit, which is at least 500 years older than Saqqara. It is one of the few unguarded pyramids in this category. There are quite a few of these stepped pyramids, called mastabas. The stones that covered this pyramid, like the slanting ones shown, weigh between 60 to 80 tons apiece. On top of a block beside the base was a circle with the Star of David, the key to the Merkaba experience. What's the Star of David doing in Egypt? In Samaria? In India? In fact, what's the Star of David doing in Rome? Our true history, which has suffered 2,000 years of corruption. It will not take that long to expose those lies that we hold as truths today. What will take time is the rebuilding of the belief structures of this planet as we begin to realize the enormity of the knowledge held by our ancient ancestors, one that was so cruelly taken from us. As discussed earlier, the Hebrews were not a race of people as once thought. They were a Semitic and Asiatic class of foreign workers who migrated into Egypt from neighboring lands to find work as craftsmen and builders. In the later dynasties of Egypt, as their population exceeded over hundreds of years, they contributed to Egyptian technology, worshipped Egyptian gods, and intermarried into Egyptian nobility. They worshipped Egyptian gods and violated Hebrew laws to keep the secret even from their fellow Hebrews. The Egyptian people forced the Hebrew Hyksos kings out of Egypt. The only way the Hebrews could still rule Egypt was to hide their Hebrew identity from the Egyptian people by changing their names to Egyptian names and intermarrying into royalty. By marrying into these Egyptian bloodlines, they gained the original Kabbalistic knowledge. The descendants of these bloodlines through the millennium have left oceans of blood through wars, sacrifice, murder, and their trademark of lying, cheating, and stealing. They have colonized and enslaved the world till this very day. They have accumulated so much wealth running their lucrative businesses. This is where the money families came from and continued throughout all the empires, including the Roman Empire, which inherited the system. The exact same fictional construct, with all its outrageous fake democracy, its third-party debt collecting, and its Christ-like prophets' teachings of compassion and miracles, which were taken from past saviors like the Egyptian Osiris, Horus, and from the Greeks, Zeus. In fact, the fictional Nazarene is a concept from some 20-plus crucified pagan gods who hung from a tree, such as Odin. The Roman Empire lost the favor of the public, but like a clever leopard changes its spots, that is essentially what the Caesars did. They remolded themselves into a holy Roman Empire. They wrapped themselves in the bunting of the Christian teachings, rewrote and re-edited many fables and pagan beliefs, which became the Bible, and re-emerged as a geopolitical force, eventually establishing the microstate, the Vatican City. By the 11th century, the Holy Roman Empire had fooled millions of Europeans that their spiritual salvation was with the Vatican. To this very day, the Egyptian pharaonic bloodlines are still ruling the world. They eventually formed Switzerland, the safe haven for these pharaohs, which is conveniently a neutral sovereign state. Little do the public know that from Switzerland they run the whole show and control worldwide events. Worldwide, you see the Egyptian pharaoh's obelisk, the old phallic symbol. The white and red houses of the latter part of Egypt's first dynasty were departments that officiated for the will of the pharaoh. The second most important state building in Egypt was the treasury. It was known as Per-Hetch, meaning White House. Here, the hand of Akhenaton, holding an olive sprig with leaves and berries. Here, we see the circular rug inside the Oval Office. In the center of the rug, we see the sun with emanating rays. Around the edges, we see what appear to be olive sprigs with berries, as also appear on the seal. The circular design is very important for astrological reasons. The Swiss Guard is assigned with looking after the Vatican. The Vatican is their most lucrative business, and all with the help of black magic. They believe in God, but their God is gold, opium, and diamonds. Mind control, be it by dogmatic or paranormal means, has the potential of the human psyche to generate altered states. It's only a matter of which drug is used. Isn't religion the opium of the masses? Any organized religion that follows a dogma, don't trust them. And by consequence, most have a hidden agenda that has nothing to do with saving souls, only controlling them. Religion, from its very inception, was and is nothing more than a program. The agenda of this program is for the destruction of the Western and European races using occult powers, and for the eventual enslavement of all remaining races with the top cabal in total control. The pharaonic cabal follow no mainstream religions and use everybody like pawns in a game of chess. This cabal create factions such as, for example, religion. They finance them, nurture them, play them off each other in a game of divide and conquer, then sacrifice them when the game changes. The cabal hold no moral codes, no justifications, and no loyalties with anyone, not even with their own kind. Like a pack of wild wolves, they work together to bring in the prey when plentiful. But when the prey is in short supply, they turn on each other, fight and bicker amongst each other for dominance over the domain. The only thing they all have in common is keeping one oath alive through the ages between each other to keep the masses in ignorance, in slavery, in poverty, and in sexual deprivation. But most of them keep them living in fear and division. According to the almanac of European nobility, known as the Semi-Gotha, the Pope that financed and completed the construction of St. Peter's Basilica, the Vatican, inscribed the family name Borghese over the main entrance and established the first Bank of Europe was of Jewish nobility. Man, in his strife to ensure survival in an adverse and difficult world, has fabricated various convictions about creation, which has been hidden from him by a small group. The Vatican Library has vacuum-sealed vaults containing thousands upon thousands of ancient esoteric books from around the world that have been stolen and hoarded over the years and kept out of public circulation. The Vatican holds many dark secrets. One of these secrets is the hex placed on humanity after the fall of mankind onto the mother woman. That hex manifested as labor pains of birth. Watch Secret Space Secret Past to make this connection. There are many hexes placed on humanity. Another dark secret is the papal bull, which is a formal document issued by a Roman death cult pontiff upon a major act of law, curse, or claim to extend the power of the cult over its claimed domination of the world, all nations, all people, all law, and all religions. All legitimate papal bulls were issued on human skin, usually the skin of a sacrificed child or some famous heretic by a dark sorcerer. But the bigger secret, which will be released soon on the coming documentary 6,000-year-old Health Secrets, the hidden computer disks over 5,000 years old that hold the secret to the universe and life given to our ancestors